So I was playing that one new Zelda game, right? I believe it was called Secret Zelda Breath of the Wild. I was tired of walking, so I caught my first horse, a spotted horse. Registered it at the stable. I believe I named it Buttercup. Then an hour later, I caught a second horse, a better horse, a solid colored horse, because the purebred horses are better than the mixed ones.
Which is pretty messed up when you think about it.
Went to go register it, and the game told me my stable was already full, but I only had the one other horse. So I checked my stable, and boom, what else do I find but all my horses from my Breath of the Wild save? Sane, Kent, Isadora, I let her go. Bad bases, bad availability. Even those two special horses, Zelda's magical princess horse, and even Borse. I love it when games do this, when they have some type of acknowledgement of previous games you've played, and not just like a story sequel, but through actual gameplay mechanics. In some games, they give you a kind of a little boosty if they find save data of a previous game. It's not so much that you feel like you're missing out on substantial content if you didn't play the last game, it's more of a way of saying, hey, gracias por jugar nuestro último juego. For example, in Mario Kart Wii, on the Wii, you can unlock Rosalina faster if you have save data of Mario Galaxy, which is great because it means you get to play less of Mario Kart Wii. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes on the Switch gives you some extra money and extra rocks if you have save data for 3 houses or Fire Emblem Warriors 1. And Fire Emblem Engage, also on the Switch, gives you items and exclusive weapons if you link to your save to the mobile gacha titty casino Fire Emblem Heroes, a phone app that launched 6 years ago, even though there are no fewer than 5 more recent Fire Emblem adjacent games also on the Switch? What the hell? But don't worry, you also get a bonus back in Heroes, being 5 orbs, which is enough for 1 single gacha pull. Man, this stingy ass game, no wonder nobody plays this bullshit anymore. In Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on the GameCube, for every unit you got to level 20, they'd receive a slight stat boost in the sequel, Radiant Dawn on the Wii, if you popped your memory card in. Except for Largo, but come on, who was seriously using Largo? No one. If your characters had an A support in the first game, meaning that they're besties, then you could transfer that over as a bonus bond support. That's pretty cool. This is how you could unlock the secret conversation where Ike and Soren have a big old makeout session right before the final boss. Look, you ain't played that game, nobody did, so you cannot say that's not what happened. Oh, and your coins transfer over too, they're used for forging a super sword. The Xenoblade Chronicles 1 HD remaster on Switch gave you a bonus of 100,000 gold if you have save data of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I believe is a sly reference to how Rex received 100,000 gold from the Chicken Man at the start of his game. It's a nice reimbursement for, you know, having to sit through all of Xenoblade 2. And it's especially cool because right at the start, you'll have enough money to buy the brand new Prodigal type armor they made just for the remake that I think looks really cool. And with the whole trilogy on the same console, Xenoblade 3 gives you nothing. In some older Monster Hunter games before the days of big time DLC, enhanced G-Rank versions will be their own separate cartridge. And instead of starting all over, you could transfer all your weapons and armor and stuff over from the base game without having to start the grind over. Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2 were released a few months apart and were always advertised together. We'd have to sit through a Stories 2 trailer to get the new Rise info. And by linking your saves, you could get each other's armor and wear in each game. The Kimura armor in Stories 2 looks really cool, and the Rider armor in Rise looks, In Splatoon 3, if you have save data as Splatoon 2, you can get a head start on ranking up in the sweaty battles, and you get 3 golden tickets. Sadly not to a chocolate factory. In Splatoon, you had to reach a certain level to buy certain weapons, but with golden tickets, you can get any weapon early regardless of your level, which was pretty nice using the brand new bow slightly earlier. And then the bow ended up not being very good. And then they made a new bow a whole year later, and that one also sucks. Something I think is even cooler is if you played Octo expansion in Splatoon 2, you would basically design your own Agent 3, who is technically your player character from Splatoon 1 on the Wii U. And in the Splatoon 3 single player, the Agent 3 got promoted into Captain, and would look identical to the one you designed in Splatoon 2 Octo expansion. That's really cool. In Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, you can transfer your custom Shepard over to each game, including all the questionable decisions you made along the way, like saving the racist lady. way. If I remember correctly, transferring your save was the only way to get true peace between the Geth and the Quarians in Mass Effect 3, a topic which is more Google searched than peace between the Palestinians and Israelis, alright. But if you can't or don't transfer your sheep man over, the game starts with a comic book recapping all the previous events, and you can make key decisions there. Every story game sequel should have something like this. Swooping back to Zelda, if you did the Champions Battle DLC in Breath of the Wild, not only do you get a sick-ass motorcycle, after you've already explored all of Hyrule making it kind of useless, you also get a photograph of all the champions at the end. And in Tears of the Kingdom, when Zelda moves into Link's house and throws away all of his stuff, pretty relatable, am I right, fellas? The photograph is still there in their house. Initially, it didn't appear to me, but then I went back into Breath of the Wild. I had to finish upgrading Link's house, actually hang the photograph, then it appeared in the Tears house. It's one of the few direct pieces of continuity between the two games, and I say, good. Tears of the Kingdom would have been a worse game if it was constantly referencing the events of Breath of the Wild. You gotta leave room for amazing brand new dialogue, such as,
Secret Stone? Demon King?
Demon King. Secret Stone. Demon King? Secret Stone?
Psycho Mantis.
in Metal Gear Solid 1, during the Psycho Mantis boss fight, he will proclaim that he's going to read your mind, which was actually him checking your PlayStation memory card to see what games you played. It's a bit of a meme nowadays, but at the time, this type of fully voiced fourth wall break in this serious espionage thriller was a pretty memorable surprise. Demo transfer, or at least demo thank you. Some game demos let you transfer your demo save file to the new game, like Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy and Rectangle Conundrum, and only one of those game titles is made up. Game demos that are just the start of the game are not always the best advertisement, because the beginning of the game is often filled with tutorials and exposition and is usually the least interesting part of a game. But if it's a game that you're already looking forward to, it could be a nice little sneak peek before the rest of the game comes out. Other game demos will give you a nice little boosty if you finish the demo and then bought the full game, like Kirby. Forgotten Land gave you a code to redeem in the full game. Kirby doesn't let you transfer your demo save, even though the demo is literally the start of the game. Linking games together. Golden Sun, Nintendo's handheld Final Fantasy, not including the handheld Final Fantasies. Not to spoil too much from these 20-year-old games, 20 years, Jesus Christ, because I think they're all coming to that hella overpriced online expansion pass, but in the first game, you have your party, and in the sequel, you start playing as some of the first game's antagonists. Sort of, it's a JRPG, it's complicated. And about 2/3 the way through the second game, the crew from the first game joins you. And if you have both games, you can transfer all your guys' stuff from the first game. Your stats, items, equipment, Jin, which is how I'll be pronouncing it for this video, either with a link cable like a sane person would, or with a really long password system that you'd manually type in. The good news is that there are multiple tiers of passwords where you don't have to transfer every single thing over in exchange for a shorter password to type in, thank God. If you transferred over all your Jin from the first game and found all the Jin in the second game, then you can fight the optional Ultimate Super Boss Supreme Nacho Cheese Dullahan, which is probably the hardest boss I've ever beat in any video game ever. Oh my God. It was so hard. He does so much damage and he heals himself every turn. Back to Zelda, again, the Game Boy Color games, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. These are two completely separate games with different settings and plots. After you finish one game, you can use a password system, or two Game Boy Colors, in the other as a sort of continuation of the plot instead of two independent games, and unlock all sorts of secrets, including the true final bosses, Twin Rova and a revived Ganon. Originally, there was supposed to be a third Oracle game, Oracle of Jenkins, but linking 3 games together is really hard. Apparently in Animal Crossing City Fuck you could transfer your character appearance over from Wild World to DS1. That's pretty cool, I guess. Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm not talking about the award-winning free trial level 60 Heavens Ward version, I'm talking about the original 1.0 release. It was not well received at all. So for 2 years they continually patched that game while remaking the whole game, which sounds miserable. There's a great no-clip documentary about the whole thing, but there's a reason why FF14 now has the subtitle A Realm Reborn. They had to reborn it. However, if you kept playing the original doo-doo version, you could transfer your character over to the new one and receive a permanent discount on your membership. And you know what? That's pretty nice. Extremely rare W for Square Enix. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I know y'all remember the Chow Garden, the best feature in all of these games. Every 3D Sonic game will continue to be mid or worse without the Chow Garden. The Chow Garden is like a 3D Tamagotchi simulator. You hatch a little guy from an egg, raise it up, drop it off at daycare to learn a skill, customize it by having it boink different animals and slurp down vials of Aunt Jemima maple syrup. Then when it gets strong enough, have it fight, kill that other Chow! Kill for my love! In the GameCube versions of these games, which are unequivocally the superior versions, you could transfer one of your Chows to Sonic Advance on the Game Boy Advance in the tiny Chow Garden. Play it in the car while on vacation to fucking Arizona, raise its stats, transfer it back, and have a fight to the death in the Thunderdome. Speaking of illicit dogfighting, Pokemon! It's the biggest case of linking games together, and not just battling or trading, or the outdated practice of version-exclusive monsters. In Pokemon Stadium, you could transfer your mons from the handheld games to the 3D games and watch them fight in 3D! And by that I mean, it was essential for their higher ranks since the rental Pokemon were total trash, or at least that's what my friend told me. I didn't play this game. And across the entire series of mainline Pokemon games since Generation 3, you can transfer your mons up through every game, and it would be the same Pokemon with the same trainer ID and remember where it was from and everything. Sure, you could always get a new Blaziken, but that's not my Blaziken that I raised up from a level 5 Torchic and Ruby version. Sure, it's just lines of code, but we're just flesh and blood, just atoms and molecules working in harmony. Who's to say he's not actually alive? My memories with Blaziken are what truly make us alive! But then Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home happened, and I don't know if you can transfer Pokemon to the recent games anymore. Honestly, I stopped paying attention. Pokemon is dead to me. So how much save data bonus should there be? While any sort of acknowledgement is nice, and it's very much a case-by-case basis, I think you should be between here and here. Rewarded for having the other game, but not feeling punished if you don't have it. Extra cash or items at the start, as long as it doesn't break the game balance, cool, I'll take it. But down here, Pokemon Violet gives you a phone case, like who cares? But being able to wear the outfit of a previous character, yeah, that's cool, but not an essential feature, so that's good. But too far along the spectrum up here, I shouldn't have to feel like I need to buy a whole other game to get the full game, you know? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. If you liked this video, then you may enjoy my previous video on shields in games. Comment below with what your favorite old save data bonuses are, and today's comment code word is floppy. Comment floppy if you made it all the way through the video, and that's it, video's over.